Welcome to Walsh University's MBA 681 course, Country and Market Presentation. Today we'll be talking about the country of Peru, and specifically an American-based organization called the Water Initiative, by Evan Acton, Ryan Hardy, and Erica Sherman. As we begin our discussion on the Peruvian culture, we must first look at the background of Peru. Peru is a country located on the west coast of South America. Peru borders many countries, including the Pacific Ocean to the west. Bordering countries include Chile to the south, Bolivia to the southeast, Brazil to the east, and Ecuador and Colombia to the north. The country of Peru has much to offer throughout the land, and major cities include Trujillo, Callao, Acuapaca, and the capital city of Lima. Political background of Peru. Peru is a unitary state which is governed as the sole authority of the land. In other words, Peru is a constitutional republic. A president can be elected to a 5-year term, but there's no chance that the president can be elected for a second term in a row. Understanding how the government in the country of Peru is structured as a whole from the top down can really be an integral part of conducting international business successfully. Climate and geography of Peru. There are a wide range of weather conditions throughout the country. The first being the west coast, which is mostly land that consists of deserts and beaches. Another area is the highlands that largely consist of the Andes Mountains and other rugged terrain. This area has a wide range of temperatures depending on the altitude, time of day, and positioning on the east or west sides of the mountains. East of the highlands is the Amazon rainforest. This area consists of hot tropical weather with plenty of rain. This part of the country is very diverse simply due to the fact that many areas are underdeveloped, specifically in the rainforest, and some are extremely developed in other areas. It's very interesting to see how different the climate can be in one area to the next, and just the different impacts it can have on developed and undeveloped areas as we look through the climate and geography. Population and poverty rates of Peru. Lima is the largest city in Peru with a population of 7,737,002 people. The country of Peru consists of 30.38 million people, with the latest Peruvian census showing us that roughly 75% of the population lives in the urban settings, while the remaining 25% lives in the rural areas of the country. It's also important to keep in mind that roughly 10% of the population is under the poverty level. Age distribution and GDP of Peru. Age distribution within Peru includes the following. 27.3% of people are ages from 1 to 14 years old. 19.2% are ages from 15 to 24 years old. 39.4% are ages 25 to 54 years old. 7.3% are 55 to 64 years old. And 6.9% are 65 years and older. The gross domestic product in Peru expanded 0.30% in the first quarter of 2014 over the previous quarter. GDP growth rate in Peru averages 1.53% from 2002 to 2014.
The official language of Peru is Spanish. However, there are many other languages that are present throughout the entire country. The language of Quechua is about 13%, which accounts for about 9 million people of the entire country. The following map, according to Lewis, 2014, shows the total 9 million people that speak Quechua or other indigenous languages of Peru. The predominant religion of Peru is that of Roman Catholicism. However, there is a blended Catholicism that is present throughout the indigenous people of Peru that mainly live in the Andean mountain range. The unemployment rate of Peru compared to other countries in South America is relatively average. However, it is relatively high when compared to those around the world. It's more informative, perhaps, to look at underemployment, which is those who work 35 hours a week and can't buy basic necessities. Another problem is that many of those work in the informal sector, which is those who are paid under the table, don't pay taxes, and don't receive any government benefits. In developed cities, such as the capital Lima, the unemployment rate is 6.5%. There's a major gap between the wealthy and poor citizens of Peru, with about 54% living in poverty and 19% of those living in absolute poverty, which is living on less than $1 a day. Now, these living in absolute poverty are forced to live in shanty towns outside of major cities in the outskirts, where there is no access to potable water on a day-to-day basis. Peru has a free trade policy, and in February of 2014, the country signed a Pacific Alliance, which was a pact with Chile, Colombia, and Mexico, which eliminated tariffs on 92% of trade on all goods. And there are different areas of the country in different stages of development. The overall outlook for Peru's economy is positive. It is forecasted in 2014 for the GDP to increase by 4.8%. The agricultural industry has traditionally been the majority of the GDP and will look like continued growth. Some emerging industries are the hydrocarbon resources and some substantial minerals. Mining and oil has also been a large part to the GDP. It's not a huge employment sector, but it is one of the largest contributors to Peru's GDP.
Peru's major imports include crude and refined petroleum. The currency used in Peru is the Nuevo Sol, or pen. The Andean community is the oldest of the regional trade groupings. Peru has reached an intermediate level of technology development. Out of 144 countries and territories, Peru is ranked 90. Channels of distribution include a downward flow.
Product or service selected. The Water Initiative is an organization dedicated to the distribution of clean water systems to societies all throughout the world. Throughout major cities of Peru, clean water is plentiful and moderately clean. However, that is not the case when you get to the outskirts of these major cities and into the rural areas of Peru. There is a clear absence of abundant potable water sources throughout the land. Understanding that this is a major issue affecting millions throughout the country, we must step back and ask ourselves, how can this issue and basic life necessity be addressed? The product known as the water cura is a portable water filter that is useful for just about anybody, anytime, anywhere. According to the Water Initiative, the water cura is the only portable solution that removes arsenic, bacteria, cyst, MTBE, and viruses. In addition to the basic contaminants, chlorine, taste, and odor, the water cura also removes targeted pharmaceuticals, synthetic hormones, pesticides, and steroids. TWI has been quoted, "We go beyond providing great taste, we provide clean water." And this is a direct quote from the mission statement. Now, understanding that this is a product and it's uniquely different, it's key for certain areas throughout the Peruvian land. Understanding the problem, we can now move forward and forecast meaningful solutions through the Water Initiative. Rationale for selecting the Water Initiative and the project of the Water Cura filter. First, we must look at the needs of the people. The Water Initiative understands that every country and every community is uniquely different, and keeping that in mind, we have to have a plan of action. The organization uses a three-step approach to identify the areas of need. The three-step approach includes diagnosis, development, and distribution. Okay? when the company diagnoses a certain community, there's certain aspects that the TWI looks for. They've been quoted by saying local issues need local solutions. And TWI immerses itself in the local community to understand their unique conditions and challenges. During the intensive study and analysis period, TWI performs extensive water samplings throughout the area to give a local water map and works with the community, the region, and the whole area just to create an affordable, convenient, effective, and environmentally safe solutions to these specific problems. After this is done, the next step we can begin to evolve to is, after taking the proper steps to diagnosing the problem and discovering the needs.
Public places like schools, hotels, and hospitals will be most effective